Hello everyone and welcome back to my Bold and Beautiful 29 YouTube channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Brooke has awaited months for Ridge to realize she's the love of his life. But, did he eventually figure it out a many twinkles too late? Sparks are flying in Naples, Italy. Brooke could have a last nanosecond change of heart. Brooke has prayed Ridge for an alternate chance for months now. But, Ridge claimed on getting engaged to Taylor and swears he has moved on from his partner. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that Ridge is still in love with Brooke, and Italy is stirring up a lot of old passions for him. When he decides to make a move on Brooke in Naples, he's going to have some competition. Nick is determined to propose to Brooke in Europe and he's pulling out all of the stops. Brooke confessed to Ridge that she's tired of playing the reverse and fourth games with him. The idea of marrying her other partner Nick could be like a breath of fresh air and just the change Brooke is looking for. Brooke will be forced to make a choice. She go crawling back to Ridge after he left her for Taylor Hayes. Brooke shock Ridge and observers at home and shut Ridge down and tell him to go home to his fiancée? We are putatively growing tired of the Taylor, Ridge, Brooke love triangle that no way ends. When the dust settles after the Naples trip, Ridge could lose Brooke and Taylor. Brooke, Nick and Ridge Forrester are each on position in Italy right now. Brooke and Ridge are presently on a Forrester Creations trip to promote a fashion show, and Captain Nick is on hand to take of some shipping issues at his family's company. Nick is pulling out all the stops to surprise his ex-wife with an extravagant offer. When Nick pops the question, Ridge Forrester suddenly realizes he still loves Brooke and will try to move her to turn him down. Brooke has formerly stated she's tired of Ridge going back and forth between her and Taylor, and she wants to move on. Nick's offer could come at the perfect time, and Brooke might indeed say yes if Brooke and Nick get engaged. Ridge Forrester is going to helical and it'll be insolvable to hide his disappointment. Nothing wants to marry a man that's crying over another woman, and Taylor is no exception. When Ridge comes back from Italy and is depressed over Nick and Brooke's engagement, Taylor could say enough is enough and walk out on him. However, he could lose both women if Ridge doesn't play his cards right. We tired of the Brooke, Taylor, Ridge love triangle. Brooke eventually moves on with Nick. Sheila having questions that Lee can't answer. While Lee was keeping Finn hidden and nursing him back to health, Steffi was surprised to hear that Lee had taken care of his burial arrangements and had him cremated before Steffi could blink. Sheila has the same questions about Luna that Steffi had about Finn. Sheila just wants to pay proper felicitations to her granddaughter since nothing differently is. Lee walls with Sheila and refuses to answer any of her questions. Maybe, Lee should have stayed down from Sheila last week or Sheila wouldn't have allowed. She could come to her. Sheila is broken by the idea that she might not be suitable to say farewell to Luna, a girl she just met, but for whom she had so important love and affection. She still believes the girl merited a chance. At least Cleric is there for his woman. Despite his passions about Luna killing his two stylish musketeers. Brooke has a lot to suppose about while in Italy, so she thinks of all her magical recollections in this exact space. Some of those recollections are with Ridge and some are with Nick. Brooke has always told herself that Ridge is her ultimate fortune, but Nick would differ. While Brooke remains starry-eyed thinking about her romantic life and history, Ridge and Nick butt heads and have it out. The half-sisters slightly suppose of themselves as siblings and have always been at odds. It turns out that nothing has changed. Nick tries to lay out a case on why he's the stylish man for Brooke, and points out that Ridge is about to marry Taylor Hayes. Nick has a point, but will that count to Ridge when the love of Italy gets into his head? Dr. Grace medical fiddle takes a dark turn in the coming weeks. Grace told Bill that Liam life-saving surgery cured his brain excrescence. But the new spoilers suggest that it may be the biggest taradiddle of all. Bill, Steffi, Hope, and Liam feel enraptured about the newest brain reviews. Finn is skeptical. While he acknowledges it appears Liam is cured, he cannot explain it medically. He remains determined to probe Grace's procedure to ensure Liam doesn't encounter any complications. Finn meets with Bridget about Liam's case. Bridget breaks down what they know: Liam was dying, Grace knew a specialist, wrested plutocrat from Bill, and Liam's now cured. It seems too good to be true. Bridget prodigies if Grace used a certified faculty. It seems sketchy that a medical faculty would operate on a man who just survived a projectile crack. Finn has a hunch that Commodity is off about the surgery. The fact that Grace specified Liam's drug and filled them herself was outputting to say the least. The real red flag for Finn was her interest in Liam's condition when he arrived at the sanitarium after Luna shot him. She sounded strangely interested in his care. Finn asks Bridget if she's seen Grace since Liam's surgery. She pauses and admits that Grace has been absent from the sanitarium. Finn finds that suspicious, as Grace has a full case cargo. It is like her to ghost her cases in their time of need. Finn ultimately learns Liam's real brain reviews showed his excrescence is only still there, but growing. Grace prevaricated to Liam and his family to ring the million lucre. She knew if they knew that his excrescence was inoperable, Bill would pay the million payout. It's likely that after Finn discovers the verity, he'll come up with a treatment plan to save Liam's life. Grace will presumably moreover go to captivity or face Bill's wrath. It works out, Grace's days are numbered. She should be watching her reverse because when Bill learns of her fiddle and her taradiddle about Liam, hell hath no fury like a father on a charge to save his son. Nick conniving a huge grand gesture, Taylor and Donna butting heads, and Lee's dirty secret coming to light. Ridge, Eric, and Brooke made it to Italy and were saluted at the hostel with fanfare and a little soiree. Ridge couldn't help but notice a maroon shipping boat in the distance and indeed seeing the name got under his skin. Yuck. It put such a mute on his mood, he took off from the party leaving Brooke and Eric to do all the mixing and mingling on their own. Also in Italy is Nick. His first stop was to check in on his boat and make sure it's ready for grand plans. Those plans? Well, they include a stunning diamond ring. The wharf director gave him tips to make his date indeed more special and Nick was beaming. There was no mistrustfulness in his head that he would win Brooke over well, as long as the wharf workers got his boat going. Nick's coming stop was the party to steal a many moments with his lady love. Not only did he invite her on a lovely date, but they kissed right also and there. Right where Eric could see it all. And, no, Eric wasn't pleased to watch that passionate lip cinch. Donna and Taylor made nice while virgin drooling about missing their men. They pictured of being in Italy with their fellows but hey, this is a work trip. Ridge and Eric presumably would have time for them anyway. Taylor did wonder, however, if Nick would be interposing the work trip since he has business to handle over there, too. Donna was stunned to hear Nick wasn't just around again but that he was trying to invite Brooke. While Taylor allowed. It was great, Donna reminded her that there was only one man on his earth of 8 billion people who could make Brooke happy and Taylor was engaged to him. Taylor was sure Nick would make Brooke just as happy. He did ahead and he can do it again. In fact, Taylor remarked on how perfect Nick is for Donna's dear family. Finn descried his mama in the hall and called her into his office. She was carrying a box of effects from her office and told Finn she was taking a leave of absence. Important like Steffi, she explained she demanded a break after all the drama with Luna. Finn pushed for a deeper answer but Lee kept up with her story. She just wants time to decompress and reuse everything. Breathe, sleep, perhaps get out of city, perhaps read a book. When Lee brought up Steffi's trip, Finn agreed his woman also demanded a breath. Luna left a trail of destruction and while he's not happy his son is dead, he can't forget what she did to his woman. They all earned some time out and recover after so important trauma. Lee prompted Finn to take some time for himself as well, however, it's him, if anyone deserves it. The verity came out about the real reason Lee was leaving the sanitarium in the dust. Back home, she was repeating history. Flashback when she blazoned Finn's death and stole him down to nurse him back to health? Yes. Well, she's going the same with Luna. She has her unconscious bastard/granddaughter all set up in a room at her condo.